Hi, I'm Cheryl Kagan, very proud to be the Senator for Gaithersburg and Rockville. Welcome to a very special edition of Kibbitzing with Kagan, brief conversations with people I find fascinating. I am chatting with all of our county executive candidates, and today I'm chatting with County Council member Andrew Friedson. Andrew, thank you so much for taking time to chat.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Good. So I'm just going to announce, as you know, that all of the questions that I'm asking you are exactly the same questions in exactly the same order as each of the candidates will be asked. And none of you have seen the questions in advance. So we're going to go fast and try to educate voters about their choices. We're going to start by offering you 1 minute, and I am setting my timer, 1 minute to give us a little bit about you, your background, why you're running, what your priorities are, and you may begin.
Well, I'm Andrew Friedson. I'm in my second term on the county council, was the council president last year, and extremely excited given the challenges that we are facing to be someone who has proven that I can bring people together to actually get things done, to address challenges that we face, to lean into those issues head on. I have focused primarily on housing and economic development issues, issues that were bad before this onslaught by the federal government and that are only going to get worse. And more, we're going to need a county executive who can prove that we can partner with our nonprofit community, bring together the resident community and the business community to be able to grow a private sector economy, to be able to address the massive affordability challenges that are making it harder and harder for residents to be able to afford to live here, and to ensure that Montgomery County reemerges as it always has been, as a place where families want to move, where businesses want to invest, and where people want to be. We are stronger than what the data is
Oh,
showing we are, and we need
thank
to move
you.
forward as a county together.
Okay, thank you. Uh, we're going to go through a whole bunch of questions now. First, what is the accomplishment you are proudest of that you think hasn't gotten sufficient attention?
Well, the accomplishment I'm proudest of that hasn't gotten sufficient attention is the Nonprofit Preservation Fund. A lot of talk is about the Housing Production Fund, which is the $100 million fund that helps our Housing Opportunities Commission meet their pipeline. That has gotten more of the notoriety. But the $50 million Nonprofit Preservation Fund took more than 3 years, bringing together our nonprofit providers, our housing, government officials, and some other stakeholders to come together to figure out how we can create a loan fund that allows for half, 4,500 of the naturally occurring affordable housing units in Montgomery County to be preserved so they can be affordable to residents. I'm really proud of the fact that we were able to solve that, and I'm really proud of the fact that it's already doing the work in the community, making a difference today.
Thank you. What policy area most inspires and motivates you?
Well, I am really relentlessly focused on housing. It's really what motivated me to get into this county government work to begin with. As you know, I worked at the state level for many years, mostly doing fiscal and economic policy work, scrutinizing billions of dollars of government contracts and public agencies. But ultimately, it was the fact that it was harder and harder for people like me who grew up here to be able to afford to live here, to be able to be part of what makes Montgomery County so special. And as chair of the housing committee on the county council, this is what I have focused on to make sure that Montgomery County could continue to be a place where families can afford to move and expand, where older adults can afford to stay and age in community and age in place.
Okay. Um, I'd like to know what you would say has been the biggest failure of the Elrich administration. There were term limits that were installed to make sure that his tenure stopped after 8 years. Wonder if you could tell me what you found most disappointing.
Well, the single thing that is most disappointing to me is that the economy has completely stagnated, and our relationships with the nonprofit sector have completely disintegrated. The business community does not see the county as a trusted partner that they are willing to invest in. And that is a huge challenge for us, and that makes it harder for us to maintain our quality of life. And our nonprofit providers, who have been the lifeblood of the social safety net that has really been the core of who we are in Montgomery County has really disintegrated to the point where there is a lack of coordination, communication, and trust that is unacceptable for a place as strong as Montgomery County. So we are not firing on all cylinders. We are not as strong as the sum of the incredible parts that we have in Montgomery County. And when the roster is better than the record, you need to change leadership. And that's why I'm running for county executive.
Okay. Um, if you could snap your fingers and change any one thing, what would it be?
We would have an economy that's growing and a housing situation that is actually creating the housing that people need at an affordable price that they can access.
Okay. I wonder if you could share with us one creative idea to address economic development challenges.
Yeah, creative idea to address the economic challenges that we face. First and foremost, we need risk capital in Montgomery County. I think Montgomery County government can partner with the private sector, particularly our financial institutions, to create the type of capital investment funds that help small businesses, new businesses grow and to build. We have private sector investment that happens in Montgomery County, but it largely is investing in businesses elsewhere. We had a campaign many years ago that you're very familiar with, given your leadership in the nonprofit sector, the Give Where You Live campaign. We
Mhm.
need the similar type of campaign in the economic development sector where people invest where they live, where the angel investments and the venture funding and all of the significant wealth that we have in Montgomery County is really dedicated and focused to building up Montgomery County. We did it on the philanthropic side, and that has been a huge boon to many of the successes of a lot of the social entrepreneurs that we have had and seen over the last 25 years in Montgomery County and the existence of the Montgomery County Community Foundation. We should and we can do the exact same thing in the private sector and grow tons of jobs and create lots of job opportunities in the process.
Okay. Our current county executive has been pretty unsuccessful in Annapolis. Can you tell us briefly something you would do differently in order to be effective working with the governor and the General Assembly?
Well, this is what I do. This is what I have done, and this is what I will continue to do. We used to have a situation in Montgomery County where, in different ways, with different personalities, the last two county executives were very effective. Doug Duncan did it out loud. He did it very publicly. He showed up in Annapolis and he testified and he had press conferences and he built coalitions. And that's how we got Strathmore. That's how we got tons of state support for many of the priorities that we have in Montgomery County, transformational things. Ike Leggett did it a little bit differently. He did it quietly through relationship building, through a level of diplomacy that was more his style. And it was incredibly effective. And he was even able to build a relationship with the Republican governor that proved very helpful and very important to Montgomery County. And that's how we were able to ensure that we kept Marriott here in Montgomery County through that relationship and that partnership. We have a county executive right now who is persona non grata in Annapolis. My background is in Annapolis. My relationships in many ways are in Annapolis. I'm proud to have the majority of the state Senate delegation supporting us in our campaign, having more support from elected officials in Annapolis than anybody else in this race. And I'm proud to have delivered for the last 7.5 years for Montgomery County residents in District 1 and beyond District 1 based on many of those relationships.
Okay, I'm going to interject and just remind us that we are time limited. And I also want to disclose that I have not endorsed any candidate yet. A bunch of colleagues have endorsed various candidates, but I have not, which is why I'm kibitzing with everybody. Um, Council member Andrew, could you please tell us a specific way that you would partner with Montgomery County's cities and towns? And this is the senator for Gaithersburg and Rockville who's asking.
Yeah, I have extremely close relationships with all of the municipal governments. Worked closely with MML when I was at the
The
state
Maryland
level,
Municipal League.
the Maryland Municipal League. Thank you.
Hmm.
And I continue to do that. In fact, as a District 1 council member in my last term and the current term, I represent more municipal governments than any other district council member. During COVID, I started doing regular weekly phone calls to navigate that crisis together with those municipal leaders. And we've continued those calls, not quite as frequently. We move them to monthly, but we regularly meet with our municipal partners and tackle these issues together. The reality is, no resident cares who the government is, what level of government it is, whether they're paying a tax. They don't care whether it's a federal, state, or local tax. It's coming out of their pocket and it's coming off of their dinner table. And they don't really care who's making the rules or the laws or the regulation. They just know whether or not the business is abiding by it and they're being protected as a result of it, or whether or not they have to follow it. And I think we have to have the same view on our end as residents have on the receiving end. They don't care who's responsible. They just want to see it get done. And I have done that in my 7 years on the council, and I'll continue to do that as county executive. And in many ways, we'll have more of an opportunity to strengthen those partnerships even further.
Okay. If you were to be elected as our next county executive, what would be your priority right after being sworn in?
Well, first and foremost, we have to ensure trust in our partners. That means our nonprofit partners. That means our business partners. That means residents who we have to partner with to be able to move forward. We need folks to be able to trust that county government can execute and can get things done. So we've got to look inward. We've got to make sure that the government is functioning and working, that we're answering the phone calls, that we put together a team that is responsive to the needs of residents. That has to be first and foremost on the list. And then from there, we can build out everything else in terms of economic development and housing and transportation and educational outcomes.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to know your belief. Who or what entity will be the key to the success of our next county executive?
Residents. We need Montgomery County residents to feel that they have a county executive and a county government that has their back, and a county executive and a county government that they can rely on. If they believe that, there is nothing we can't do in Montgomery County. I am disappointed in where we are in Montgomery County based on the economic data and based on some of the outcomes that we have, because I know how good Montgomery County could and should be. And so if we can get our residents on board, there's nothing we can't do. And COVID proved this. When we were in a crisis, we weathered that storm better than almost any other jurisdiction in the country. Why? Not because of county government, not because of any individual person, but because county residents got it. And county residents were up to the job and up to the task. We need to view every moment like that moment and like that crisis, get the buy-in and the support of our residents, and then channel that in the direction of economic growth, of housing opportunities, of educational outcomes, of a transportation system that actually serves our needs. That's how we're going to be as strong as the sum of our parts.
Okay. Shifting to a political question, other than fundraising, what is your least favorite part of campaigning?
I love campaigning. I got to tell you, I think that campaigning is an opportunity for us to talk about the future of Montgomery County. And any opportunity that I have to meet with people to talk about the future of Montgomery County is something that I relish. And so
Okay.
I really do honestly love campaigning. I love talking about the future. I love not being mired in the what can't happen now, but being focused on what can and should happen as we move forward, and how do we bring people together and build the type of coalition that we need to get it done. To me, that's what campaigning is all about. I try to campaign the way I want to govern. And so, I am a happy warrior in that sense. And I really do like being on the campaign trail for that reason.
Okay. Uh, is there this? Yeah, this is a question that I want to give people an idea of folks as human beings here. Is there one vote or one public statement that you wish you could have a do-over and correct?
It's a really good question. I don't dwell in that way. But here's what I think we should do. There are a lot of things that we have done that had we had the information that we have today, maybe we would have done differently.
Mhm.
And I think that we do ourselves a disservice when we view our votes as permanent when we view laws and policies and positions as permanent. When it comes to negotiation, I learned long ago from a brilliant negotiator in a negotiating class that I took that in order for a negotiation to be successful, you have to focus on interests and not positions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too often in politics, we focus on positions and not interests.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that should be true prospectively in terms of cutting deals, but it also should be true retrospectively. If we're not willing to look back at the policy decisions we've made to see whether or not they're working in the way that we want, and if we're not willing to make changes and adjustments to the policies, even if it means saying, you know what, we didn't get this one exactly right. We tried to find a balance and maybe we struck the wrong balance. So let's tweak it and refine it and let's get it right. I think residents desperately are looking for that level of authenticity and honesty. And I think too often we don't see it in our current politics because things have gotten so positional and so tribal. And to me, it's not about one mistake or position as if it is an embarrassment that should be, frowned upon. It's a willingness to look back on every decision that we've made to analyze whether or not the policies are working and serving the residents and the people as we want, and then being willing to make adjustments. I am fully committed to that.
Okay. Um, Pivoting again, hopefully a lot of people know that sadly 3 people have died in my district when 911 has failed, and I've been working on 911 for 11 years. Pivoting to 311, and we just released a unanimously endorsed statewide 311 report. And so I would like to know your thoughts on how 311 is working in Montgomery County. What's working, what's not working, super briefly, because we're running out of time.
That's a much longer question that requires a much longer answer. But in brief, it was a nightmare. It was a disaster when I came into office, and shortly after coming into office, we had a number of government operations committee work sessions on it. All of us hammered hard these issues. I'd suggested then that this was not a communications function; it was an operational function, and
Mhm.
I'd suggested it move into an operational part of the county budget and of the county department structure, as opposed to the PR, communications, public information office portion. That was resisted at first. It's now been accepted. I think it's led to better results.
Okay.
Things are better than they were, but they're not as good as they could and should be. We still get constituents who reach out directly to our offices because they don't get the service that they want and need from 311. So this is an area of continuous need for improvement, but it is better, admittedly, than it was.
Okay. Well, we're looking to supplement with 24/7, 365 using artificial intelligence, which is very exciting. You've mentioned the nonprofit sector several times. Give a shout out to one nonprofit that you think folks might not have heard of, not one of the big ones, but what's one that you personally support and want to recommend for people to learn more about?
Oh gosh, there are so many. It
I
is
know.
hard to pick one. You're asking me like pick amongst my
Your
my
children.
children here. One that I will tell you, Nourishing Bethesda is one I'm just excited to explain the background of. This was a
Nourish,
nonprofit,
say it again.
Nourishing Bethesda.
Nourishing, of course. Yep.
Yeah, Nourishing Bethesda. And I was at the Up County Hub Gala the other night. And similarly, this started by a group of church members at St. John's Norwood Church coming forward and saying, what can we do to help? We want to do something right in our community, hyper local, not just in Montgomery County, but where our members live. We know there are needs, and people don't think there are needs here. I
Right.
raise that only to say, even in one of the wealthiest places in the county, and even in one of the most affluent places in the country, the amount of need, even in downtown Bethesda, was overwhelming.
Yeah.
And this group of church members banded together. It's now a county public private nonprofit partnership. The BCC Rescue Squad participated, the Rotary Clubs have gotten involved, the chambers have gotten involved, and now hundreds of families every week in its 5th year receive food and other vital services as a result of this effort. And it really speaks to the power of the nonprofit sector in Montgomery County and the spirit of giving that we have in our community.
Amen. Um, Council member Andrew, I'm going to give you 1 minute again before we go to Fast Five on any topic that we haven't covered, anything that you wish I had asked. You may begin.
Yeah, the one thing that I just wanted to raise is how can county government lead without showing the example of our power, but the power of our example? And I really think there's an opportunity to show that. And an example I would give is the paid guaranteed parental leave bill that I put forward. This was a scenario where you all at the state level, led by Ariana Kelly, your former colleague and both of our friend,
Mhm.
she put forward guaranteed parental leave. We were having a conversation at the county level. We're an employer of 10,000 employees. And I asked the question, what is our policy? How is this going to impact us?
Mhm.
Thinking that we had some robust policy as a progressive organization of 10,000 people who has put forward tons of rules, laws, and regulations on local employers, nonprofits, and for profit businesses. The answer was we had no policy at all.
Mhm.
And so I put forward a bill for paid parental
Fabulous.
leave. And ultimately, now residents
Okay.
are getting the benefit of better public services because they have that policy in place. And it's an example of how county government can lead.
Thank you. All right. Sorry to be so cutting you off here, but I'm trying to be really fair and ask everybody the same questions in the same order with the same total time. So, Councilmember Andrew Friedson, candidate for county executive, it is time for your fast five. Five quick questions, five quick answers. And the first question is, what is the best advice you've ever gotten from a mentor?
Be who you are.
Okay. Question two. Who is a shero or hero in your life who does not live in Montgomery County?
I was going to say my mother until you said didn't
That's on purpose.
doesn't live in Montgomery County. Shiro or hero. I have a teacher, a mentor of mine, an elementary school teacher, Miss Pickles, who doesn't live in Montgomery County, but was a mentor of mine as a young person that I think about a lot.
What did she teach you? Briefly.
She teaches me about community
Okay.
more than anything,
Okay.
and to have fun with education. We went to the moon in second grade, and we
Okay.
had a replication of all of these various things through incredible levels of creativity. And she's really the person who taught me that learning should be fun.
Okay.
And I try to think about that as I move forward.
Nice. And that was before AI, artificial intelligence. Where do you go to get off the grid and just relax and escape?
I go on hikes. I love any and all hikes. Certainly, the Billy Goat Trail is probably my top among them, but any Montgomery County Parks trail is great too, Cabot John Trail and otherwise.
Excellent. Uh, Question number four. What is your favorite local event that you look forward to each year?
Well, Gaithersburg Oktoberfest is great, but I just went to the Markov's Haunted Forest, and that's a
Mhm.
throwback to my childhood. So I might have to, in the spirit of the fact that it's Halloween today, I might have to say Haunted Forest.
There you go. Do you know that I knew Nicky Markov when he was in diapers? So
I
there's
did
that.
not know that, but I'm not surprised by it either.
Valley Mill Camp, baby.
I'm a
Okay.
Valley Mill kid myself.
All right. I don't know if I knew that. Question number five, the question I ask every guest. Council member Andrew Friedson, what is your hidden secret superpower? What's a skill or talent you have, something you're really good at that most folks can't do?
I really don't have any unique skills, to be honest with you. I survive well on a lack of sleep, but a lot of people do that. Uh, I wrote a college application a long time ago saying that I had my skill is that I have been good at many things, but great at nothing.
Hmm.
So I don't think I'm unique in any way. I work really hard. I try to listen. My best ideas are seldom mine, but I try to implement other people's ideas and bring people together to get things done. So I don't think I'm unique. I don't think I'm special. I don't think I have any superpowers. Superman was born a superhero. Most of the other superheroes had some amazing event in their life, supernatural event in their life that made them superheroes. If anything, I'd be more of one of the superheroes that has a lot of help and a lot of support that um, makes them able to do supernatural things without any actual superpowers.
All right. All right. Interesting. I've never gotten that answer. Before we say goodbye, I'm giving each of the candidates the opportunity to give your website, your social media and stuff if people want to learn more about you, donate, volunteer, or anything.
Yeah, on Facebook, we're at Andrew M. Friedson, on Twitter at AM Friedson, as well as Instagram. And you can visit us on our website at andrewfriedson.com.
Super. All right. Well, Andrew Friedson, thank you for making time to kibitz today, and I look forward to seeing you before too long along the campaign trail. Stay well.
Thank you. Great to kibitz with you.